Live, going live. Hey, I'm live. Woohoo, whoop-de-doo. Ah. Well, feel like crap today, and I figured, you know what? I'm not really doing anything. Let's play armchair. Let's play armchair quarterback. Okay, let's play armchair booker. Okay, what are we gonna do for Wrestlemania? It's coming up in like 4 months, and now once again, I put some ground rules on myself. So this is not some sort of like 20 bajillion card where, AJ Styles faces, Shinsuke Nakamura for the the New Japan title at WrestleMania and all the other stuff that you see with people, throwing in their specific, magic cards of like 20 matches. So couple ground rules here that I've come up with. And I put it right up here. I put it on my screen just so I could see here. But took a few minutes and I thought about this. 8 matches. That's it. 4 matches, midpoint break. 4 matches, end of show. Not doing 2 days. We're not doing, these giant 20-card, 6-hour shows that WWE has become very fond of lately. And that's so that's my ground rules. I have 4 matches, break, 4 matches. 8 matches total. Now you're probably going, but there's more than 8 titles in WWE. Yes, you're right. That means not every match is a title match. Matter of fact, only 6 of these matches are title matches. And I look at that and I probably say, well, you know what, that's probably 3 too many, to be perfectly honest. There's way too many titles. If 80% of your show is a title match, well, then, the titles aren't that damn important. They're not that rare. So, this is just my armchair quarterback. So, my rules were, okay, you're not picking your favorite wrestlers, David. You're not picking the guys that you mimic in your own matches. You're speaking of which, Toriano is not going to be in the WWE anytime soon. But none of that. You're not doing anything like that. But what would we just, if you were a booker, if you were to just say, here are the money matches, the biggest bullet points you can make, or at least the most bullet points you can make, what are the big money draws? What would get people to put butts in seats? That's it. That's all you're caring about. You're not going for 5-star classic. You're not going for giant match of the year candidate. You're just simply going for what will make money. We are ending feuds and we're starting feuds, okay? We're doing this business-wise. So a lot of people that I like are not on this card. Or if they are, they're in a big giant cluster, battle royal. Same thing with, a lot of people you probably like. So that's not the end goal here. The end goal here is, think of it as if this were like an older WrestleMania, where you only had 8 matches. Now, if you look at these older WrestleMania cards, they're really only 2-3 card shows. The rest of it is all, did we really care about seeing Berserker beat some jobber on WrestleMania? No. And no offense to the job guy, and people like to use that term as like an insult, but no, it's your job. Your job is to make the other person look good. That's, it's doing a good thing. If you do your job correctly, you're making the company a lot of money. Brooklyn Brawler was around for how many years? It wasn't because, haha, look at the Brooklyn Brawler, we make him laugh, haha, lose for us, monkey. No, Brooklyn Brawler was around and got a steady paycheck for all those years because he was a damn good jobber. So, but that's another side tangent. And once again, I apologize because I like to use this whole circular conversational logic here where, you will start here, start there, and eventually I will weave around into a point. But the point is, I took this and went, you know what, if this is only a 3-hour show, and it's WrestleMania, so elaborate entrances and all that sort of stuff, we're really only going to get 8 matches total on this card. So essentially if it was your local independent promotion. So if WrestleMania was your local independent promotion, out of the entire 500 people that seem to be employed by WWE, what are the 8 matches I would put in? And I've got this going from, bottom to top. I've got it in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, mid-show break, 1, 2, 3, 4, end show. And here they are. Now, with this being said as well, I have not really watched WWE in a while. I know the general gist of what's going on. I've heard about, the Roman Reigns heel turn. I've heard about the storyline of the reckoning guys like T-Bar and other bizarre gang name guys that are led by Mustafa Ali. As you can see just by my description, I haven't actually physically seen the shows, but, I have a general understanding of, okay, just cursory knowledge, what is the big storylines right now that's happening? Okay. So here we go. I mean, I'm not, to be perfectly honest, I hate modern WWE. I really do. I hate that every match is 30 minutes long. I hate that every match has 17 suicide dives and 17 super kicks and 17 finisher kickouts. I hate that every show has to be 3 hours long. If your normal show's 3 hours long, then what's the point of a pay-per-view being 3 hours? I hate a lot of that. So, with that being said, we're going to also work under the assumption that, we're going kind of more toned down in this. But I figured, first things first, start the crowd out hot with a battle royal. Get to see a bunch of people, get to see a bunch of moves, that sort of stuff. Now, with this being said, I'm not going to give a beat by beat of here's who gets eliminated first, second, third, fourth. For most of this situation, I'm going to assume that if I were in charge of WWE, all the people on this card already know how to wrestle. They already know how to make a good match. I'm just giving them bullet points and saying, here's the bullet points. You guys fill in the rest. You know what to do. You know your gimmick. You know your character. I'm not going to segment this directly for you and say, now at this point you do 10 punches in the corner and then you kick them off and you do this. No. Not doing any of that. So bullet points of this is we got the Andre Battle Royal, which opens the show because it doesn't really belong anywhere else but the show opener. But, here's where you can get all the people that couldn't be in the main card. So, here's where you put, all the guys that, are good but or whatnot, but you can't actually, they're not in a featured match. And I have this as Mustafa Ali wins. And basically, I have all of the faction that he has helps him out. So basically, the match is, because you haven't really seen this in these Andre Battle Royals yet, it's always been every man for himself. Maybe there's 2 people that team up or, something like that. But no. I'm talking here's 6, 7 guys fighting against other 6, 7 guys. We actually have a clear divide between heel and face teams in this, battle royal, and that's the big storyline, which you haven't really had. You haven't really had a heel face split dynamic, I don't think, ever in a battle royal in WWE. So it's a storyline. It's not just here's people going in the corner, blah 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 blah, pretend to choke each other, pretend to hurl you over the top rope, and I'm holding out. None of the typical battle royal stuff. There's actually it's actually an angle. It's an angle for retribution. That's what they're called. Retribution. And I figured, that's what it is. We want them to boo when Retribution wins, dump someone off. We want them to cheer when someone from Retribution gets taken out. That's all it is. It's WWE versus Retribution. And it gets down to the point where finally all the members of Retribution are gone except Ali. And then it starts to turn into your normal battle royal of everyone going back and forth. You start seeing your high spot between the 4, 5, 6 people that are left. And then the ending comes in where all the members of Retribution come back in, dump the rest of the WWE guys over when it looks like Ali is going to lose. So Ali steals it, and yay! I mean, boo. Boo, Ali. We want them to boo, but, gets over the retribution angle a little bit and, gives Ali a win because he's like the leader of it. And, they're a threat. We can go forward with whatever's going on. Now, opening it with a heel win, you might go, yeah, that's kind of odd. And quite honestly, I do dislike a lot of WWE when they just have these, it seems ever since Triple H, constant heel authority figures, constant heel champions. They don't actually make baby faces. They just turn the heels that people start to cheer for into baby faces. They don't actually just have good baby face. And I think there's a lot to that. I think it's that they've made the heel authority figure such a constant thing that the company itself is the bad guy. So whenever someone's against the company, they're automatically a good guy, which is a really twisted way to think about it. I mean, could you imagine if, Coca-Cola said, hey, anyone that hates Coca-Cola is the good guy because Coca-Cola sucks? Why would that be a thing? It makes no sense. Same with, Disney, hey, come to the Magic Kingdom. Please burn the place down because, Magic Kingdom sucks. It doesn't work that way. I am getting so many texts right now. Think about live video. Someone's going into urgent care. Okay, that's okay. That's a pretty good indicator. Yeah, no, just yeah, you do that. Yeah, you just stay safe. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that distraction. Yeah, flu. Pretty much what I assumed. But yeah, so we go from that, and we're gonna go into, and I've got these in order. So we went from the Andre the Giant Battle Royal to the Intercontinental Championship match. I have Big E versus Sami Zayn. So everyone knows that Big E, everyone's been saying Big E needs a push. They've been saying it for like 5 years now, it seems. And it seems like they finally now, with, Kofi getting injured and whatnot, they're finally giving Big E that push. And Sami Zayn coincidentally happens to be the super annoying, heel champion of a mid-card belt or a lower card belt. I'm not quite sure where you put U.S. title and Intercontinental title because their positions kind of switched depending on who has it. Same with the Universal and WWE. Which one's the main title depends on who has it, unfortunately. Which, So I figured he's been ducking, Big E and ducking this and being an annoying little prick, typical heel stuff. Dodging opponents while Big E's just been powerlifting guys and tossing them around, doing his big guy stuff. I'm not saying, full 5 count gimmick because that's kind of a heelish thing to do, but, we've got, just big baby face that, everyone loves versus Weasley little heel. Singles match, one-on-one. I have Big E wins decisively. And by decisively, I mean there's a lot of hullabaloo with Kevin Owens getting involved for Sami. And he overpowers both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So, decisive win. He beats 2 guys, gets a title at Wrestlemania. Hopefully this is enough to, go and say, yes, we're going to strap a rocket to this guy's back. And, now we have, our Lars Sullivans and our Cesaros and, our Jeff Hardys and other people that we can just feed Big E, so that, Big E just beats a bunch of guys after this, them to build him up into, a credible champion and then, into an actual big feature storyline after this as well. So I'm hoping this goes well. Then I have tag team titles, and here is where I had to take a look at the WWE roster and went, oh, because I have this again, because I know there's been a eyeball match type storyline thing going on with Ray and Dominic versus Seth Rollins and Murphy. I've been aware of it. Apparently, Murphy and Seth Rollins broke up because they're not on the same card. They're not on the same program anymore. So my idea was that the Mysterio, somewhere down the line, Seth Rollins and Murphy get the tag titles. And then somehow this evolves into a tag team match. Ray and Dominic versus Seth and his underling. And the Mysterios, Dominic gets the fall on Seth after, his underling finally gets sick and tired of Seth Rollins. So like one of those situations like, I'm just imagining Seth Rollins for months going, I won't fight you. I'm a nice guy. But Murphy here, he'll fight you. Or just getting Murphy to do his little things, just doing stuff and getting him to, just like, you get that sort of seed where it's like, stop doing this, dude. Like, I stop. Like, we're a team. We're not, I'm not your underling, kind of like, Virgil $1 Million Man sort of thing, where eventually the crowd kind of knows it's coming. And at WrestleMania, just finally have, the underling finally turn on the evil heel boss and allows the babyface team to win. Now, unfortunately, I guess they already broke up, so I have to go and do this with a different underling. So, I now have this, and I looked through, the Raw roster and went, Seth Rollins is not the Monday Night Messiah. Okay. The SmackDown roster. Okay. And I looked through the SmackDown roster, and I looked, who would be a good underling for Seth Rollins? Who are they not doing anything with? And, who is not already part of an established team or something. So it's like, because I looked at it like, ooh, that guy looks like he would fit in. Oh, he's part of the Forgotten Sons tag team. Okay, who's this guy? Oh, the other member of Forgotten Sons. Okay. No. And eventually, I came across Aleister Black. Aleister Black has that look of like, if he's, the Monday Night Messiah or whatever they're calling the SmackDown Friday nights? The Friday night word that begins with F that's religious. The Friday Night Father. Okay, yeah, the Friday Night Father. Seth Rollins and the demon guy, Aleister Black. Now you got an angel and demon dynamic. Okay, cool. You can package them together in a team. So, Seth Rollins is doing his thing of like, I'm a nice, gentle creature. It's okay. But Aleister, he has problems and he needs to fix them. So Aleister, please go and, and he's being belligerent to Aleister. Little bit, till eventually it gets quite blaringly obvious and Aleister's very annoyed. And of course, that's continuing the Ray and Dominic Mysterio thing, and no eyeball eating or anything like that, but, just actual, stuff. And this would all come to a head at this match where finally, after Seth and Aleister have the titles, and I guess they've had them for a month or two, this is where it's finally the big chance. First Mania, Dominic and Ray, father and son team versus the heel champions. This is where Aleister Black finally gets fed up with, Seth Rollins, kicks him in the face, spins him around, and he just falls. He just happens to land going right for a dual 619 from both father and son. And then, Dominic Mysterio jumps up West Coast Pop or whatever. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I know Seth Rollins just ate 3 finishers. Fuck it. It's going to be, a mark out moment because father and son celebrating in the ring, tag team champs. And you can, go into a singles feud with Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black. Ended one feud, going into another. I was also debating at one point having, perhaps Lars Sullivan win the Andre Battle Royal so that he could stare down Big E and go into that feud. But we really don't need him to win in order to stare down Big E, and also because Lars Sullivan apparently can't shut his damn mouth on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or any form of social media. So I'm not quite sure if he's going to be around come WrestleMania again. So I'm also kind of having to build this based on who do I think is actually going to be around. So, yeah. If there's one thing I've learned doing independent wrestling, the thing you see on the sheet on the back wall normally has a lot of things of like, this person couldn't make it, scribble this down, this is now a new person happening. This match is not happening, now we're having a segment here. And it's just it sometimes looks like a complete convoluted mess of what's happening because, well, 3 people got stuck in a storm. We now have to change 3 matches and rearrange the entire card night of. So, yeah, that was always fun whenever that happened. Probably even worse for the booker, but, all the guys in matches going, wait, so we're not wrestling each other now? No, now I'm wrestling. Okay, well, I guess everything we talked about and instant messaged each other doesn't fit anymore. Okay, what are we doing now? What's this type of stuff you do? Okay, it's always fun like that. Not the most enjoyable times. So then we have, and I'm going to have this be, the main event of the first half of the show. Okay, and this is where if I just got called the main event, and now I've hurt someone's feelings. So the finale of the first half, a grudge match between Orton and Edge. This is your big bloody match. I know WWE doesn't do blood or whatever, and I'm hoping that Edge is back by now, but this is the big giant grudge match. The blood splattered everywhere, weapons, chairs, just spots like that. Now, nothing too insane. Like, we're not doing hardcore match. I don't want it to be like, because when you say hardcore match, people kind of get hokey with it. And like, oh, I'm gonna roll a bowling ball up your legs, or oh, now look here, you're falling through light tubes. No, just gritty, real, And you have the storyline of, hey, Orton, took Edge out of commission after he came back. He ruined his big moment. So you got the built-in storyline. Edge goes over at the end, very decisively in the end. And by decisively this time, I mean like it's clean. There's no interference. I should probably just put clean instead of decisively because, kind of hard to have a decisive grudge match. I mean, they're still going to be taking big bumps either way. They're both going to be taking chairs or tables or, ladders or whatever. It's not like you don't ever see a ladder match where one person takes all the ladder bumps and the other guy never does, So clean. Edge goes over clean. At this point, it's a big emotional moment. The crowd needs a breather. Mid-show break. 4 matches down, 4 to go. So, match number 5 on the card. Lesnar versus Lashley for the U.S. title. Not sure if you hear Gremlin downstairs barking, but that's okay. So, I have decided, and I was going back and forth on this, because I know that's the match that I know a lot of people have said, hey, Lesnar versus Lashley, Lesnar versus Lashley. I know I've heard people say it, the internet wants it because it's Lesnar versus Black Lesnar. That was the joke. Lashley was a Black Lesnar. That's not the point. That's not the reason why I'm doing it. But what I'm thinking is, okay, so that is kind of a money match that people want to see. At the same time, people are going to want it, and I want to elevate titles and whatnot. And I had a nice back and forth with myself in this. Do I want Lashley to win? Because Lashley's going to be around more often. Because, you can have him say, I'm the guy that defeated Lesnar and blah, 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 blah. You can have him say that. At the same time, you have already Roman Reigns, who is the guy that beat Lesnar, and Drew McIntyre, who is the guy that beat Lesnar. When you are the third person who is, I'm the guy, and Seth Rollins, who is the guy that beat Lesnar consistently multiple times. When you're the fourth person who's, I'm the guy that beat Lesnar, now it doesn't mean anything. He's already lost too much. So I went, okay, could we make this important here? What's more important? Is Lashley being the champion past this important? Or is Lesnar being the champion elevating the U.S. title more? Will people pay more to go and see, I want someone to take this U.S. title from Lesnar? Much like how when John Cena was U.S. champion, it was, oh, hey, the U.S. title is important now. Same with, I believe AJ Styles had it, where it's like, oh, hey, it's important now. The U.S. title is normally kind of the throwaway title. So I want to make the U.S. title feel important for later on the line for Lashley to win it back. So I decided Lesnar's going to win, but he's just going to squeak by, okay? We saw Lesnar have to do the surprise roll-up. He has to do the sneaky little heel thing, Lesnar doesn't go over clean, it's Lesnar does, ref distracted, low blow, or pull tights or something, maybe all three. It's like, you make it a point, Lesnar had to cheat. Okay? So Lesnar's the champ, and, he shows up his 3 times he feels like showing up, and, he'll beat people decisively or whatnot, but then in the background, there's always Lashley, and you didn't really beat Lashley. So that's going to be the storyline going forward for Lashley to get the U.S. title back. And hopefully at that point, it'll be a big crowning triumphant moment, and, the U.S. title will mean more again. Once again, there's still like 7 titles too many, so I'm not sure how well that will work with the U.S. title, but that's the plan I have. And so then we have ourselves the women's title match. Yes, the women's title. I took a look at the women's roster, and there's like 4 people on each show. 4 people does not a division make. Okay? There should not be 2 separate divisions. There should be 1 division. But anyway, let's just say this is happening. Asuka versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch gave birth. She'll be, she's giving birth in December. That's 3 months' time. Screw it. We're not doing a hard work rate match anyway, because I hate hard work rate matches that go on for 70 hours. It'll be all right. Big thing. Becky Lynch is returning. It doesn't have to be heel versus face. It's just Becky Lynch is returning. Your big, giant draw. Let's be perfectly honest. Becky Lynch was the biggest draw that year. Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch. You just sell it. Just going, Becky Lynch is returning at WrestleMania. Becky Lynch is returning. She's coming back for the title she never lost. Becky Lynch is going against the person that, got handpicked to be the champion after she left. So now it's, champion versus champion. Who's the real champion, basically? That's the idea. And here's the thing. Becky Lynch does not need the title. She's already over. She is super over. I know people were upset that, she had the title for so long, but she's been gone for, she'll be gone for like a year. So she's going to get a massive pop. Even if you hate John Cena, when John Cena's gone for 6 months, oh my God, he's back, yay! And everyone loves John Cena again. It's, how can I miss you if you don't go away? So Becky Lynch doesn't need to win, but you can't have Becky Lynch just straight up lose. So here's what I want. Competitive match, back and forth, when suddenly Ronda Rousey comes in and hits Becky Lynch from behind with a chair. Boom. Asuka doesn't see it, or you could have the match thrown out or whatever. It doesn't matter. Asuka wins or whatever. The point is now we've gotten her away from going after the title because she doesn't need the title. Now Becky Lynch is going after Ronda Rousey. That's the feud that everyone wanted. That's the feud that got ruined by turning it into a triple threat. That's the real feud everyone wanted. That's the money match. And we're going to stretch that out to SummerSlam. And, we can stretch it out by saying, like, oh, you won't fight me, you didn't really beat me, so on and so forth. And we can have Shayna Baszler as Ronda Rousey's underling, She's got her whole little entourage of MMA fighters, and Becky Lynch has to go the distance. She has to go through all of them before finally getting her hands on Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam. That's the next big feud going up for the next 6 months with the women's division. And also, the women's title as well. So you have 2 separate feuds. So you'll have 2 big money matches, preferably at SummerSlam, with the women's division. So competitive back and forth, face versus face, immediately screw jobbed by heel, ruining the match. And then, you go back and now you have 2 different matches going on. You can have, Shayna versus Asuka and Becky versus Rousey at the SummerSlam. And then you can finally get back around to it, finally having that one-on-one title match that got ruined the next year or Mania. It's like, hey, we never actually got a real decisive victory. Now we're going to do it. And you can build it up and turn one of them heel along the way or something. You can do that. Of course, I'm kind of going under the assumption that this is not, stuff that they'll just do. Because, it seems like, hey, everyone thought, hey, they're going to finally do, not Shayna. They're finally going to do, Bayley versus Sasha at Mania, and apparently they're doing it like literally next week. So, this is WWE where things, happen much faster than you think. So, they got to book like 7 different shows every week. If you cut down on the number of shows, you'd be able to stretch these things out longer and not get bored of them. But then you lose out on all the TV ad rights and revenue and all that sort of fun stuff. So, they're never going back to that. I'm still kind of working under the assumption WWE works more as it did in the 80s with, house shows. And you can do the same match 20 times in a row because it's in 20 different cities. And no one knows the difference. But, so then we have the WWE title, Drew McIntyre versus The Fiend, in what I'm calling the spooky match. This is not going to be one of those filmed on location, camera cuts, where it's clearly fake. What I mean by spooky matches, this is the character match, Realistically, every match is a character match. Realistically, every character is so over, you don't need to do anything insane. You don't need to do a quadruple 720 McTwist flurry spiral jam off a ladder. You don't need to. If your character's over enough, the crowd will pop for a clothesline. So this is all, the building up to it. Building up to it, building up to it, building up to it. Getting the characters over so that when the match happens, you don't have to do diddly squat. That was always my goal whenever I wrestled. And, once COVID is finally over, will be my goal again. That's why I like NWA Power. I looked at it, and I looked at Aaron Stevens, and I'm going, the man is doing nothing. He's doing nothing. He did a couple punches, a line, a slam, got rolled up, and then just said no. And the crowd went, yes, and he went, no. And the crowd went, yes, and he went, no. The crowd went, yes, and he went, no. And he did that for like 5 minutes. The yes-no was longer than the match, but it got so over. Same thing with Toru Yano, who I mentioned earlier. Or if I want to go with, Right Coast Pro here, Pedro Duro. Pedro Duro does nothing. He does absolutely nothing. He just chokes someone and then goes, Mexico! And, you get the USA chants going because, he's the evil Mexican heel with, he's the hardcore champion of Mexico. That's his gimmick. He does nothing. Takes 2 bumps a match at most, but sustains that crowd for 10 minutes doing that. Like, yes, that's wrestling. That's the type of stuff you could do 300 matches a year, and it would still be, over in those 50 different states, in 50 different towns that you go to. That's honestly, is the admirable part. You don't need to see, a Pedro Duro do a corkscrew 550 or whatever. So what I mean by the spooky match is, maybe you have the projection thing, lights go out, boom, there's the picture of maggots on the floor, or boom, the lights go out and the people that are in the corner are waving their lights or whatever, so the beams go everywhere, and maybe there's some smoke that fills the ring at one point and you don't see where the Fiend is gone. You can do the supernatural stuff, but it all takes place live in the ring. Okay? Everything like that. And I figured you still want to have Drew. The WWE clearly wants Drew McIntyre to be a guy. He may not be the guy, but he is a guy. They want him to be the Orton to Roman Reigns' Cena, is what it seems like to me. So he has to go over. And I want him to go over clean, You can build up the Fiend as getting more brutal and more violent after a loss, where he goes, ah, and he just starts killing people again. You don't ever need to, whenever Undertaker lost, it didn't matter that Undertaker lost. Because Undertaker would then come back and he'd beat people. He still, would have 99% of his matches he'd win. Just because he didn't win the title didn't mean much, He didn't need the title. The Fiend is a character that does not need the title. Because if he has the title, he has to, then start having competitive matches. He has to then start doing this, and he has to start letting other people, almost beat him more consistently to keep the drama up, which will do more to hurt the Fiend than that. So I'm going to have Drew McIntyre win, in the spooky match. And then this goes into our main event, where it's Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Assuming that The Rock cannot make it, but, it's pretty clear that's what WWE's going for. They're hoping it's going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Backup plan is Bill Goldberg. Because then you can do spear versus spear, and hey, this was the match that was supposed to happen but didn't. And it's not so quickly after Goldberg lost to The Fiend, so, it's not like he lost 2 times in a row. People are going to forget about that loss by then. It's going to be over a year old. So, either way, Roman Reigns wins. We know that's what's going to happen. Roman wins, stands tall. They want him to be the guy. They want the crowd to really, get into him, and then eventually probably turn him into a babyface again. But this time, hopefully, they'll turn him into a babyface that is still a tough guy that kicks ass, and he's not suffering succotash son. Because, really, in all honesty, the fact that they made him cartoonishly babyface is what hurt him. As long as he's, a real guy, they'll like him. Because people, that's really all it is. That's, people get eventually sick and tired of cartoonishly good guy. You still have to have some sort of edge. Goldberg's a babyface, but he has an edge. He's just a kick-ass machine. Same with, Kurt Angle, when Kurt Angle was a face. He was a babyface, but he wasn't like, golly gee willikers, look here, sir, I do protest that you are being a fiendishly type of person. He wasn't cartoonishly, babyface. So if I look this up, that's, 8 matches on the card, what I assume would be like the biggest money matches they could make, so on and so forth. I actually feel probably a lot of people's lists are going to be very similar if they were limiting themselves to 8 matches or whatnot, because there's just, you can always go and look and see and okay, what are the 4 main storylines going on? Because there's always generally kind of 4 or 5 main storylines that are happening anyway. So it's okay, how do you pay these off? The real thing is how do you make sure that the crowd has a roller coaster ride where they don't feel disappointed at the end or whatever. And I know that I'm starting with a heel victory and ending with a heel victory, assuming Roman Reigns is, the heel, which he is going to be because, everyone's going to go, Rock, yay, or Goldberg, yay, because I haven't seen him in ages. And, starting the second half with a heel victory as well, but I got 1, 2, 3 heel victories, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 face victories. So overall, still faces win. Which, I always hate it when where shows are just such heel dominated, where it's like, oh geez, look at that. Triple H just, went 30 minutes yet again and made his opponent look like a complete jobber, for 29 minutes of it, yet again. Wow. This is only the 700th time this year. So I always disliked it when it's like, there's heel heat and then there's just depression porn. And wrestling, oftentimes, WWE just gets into depression porn where, oh, look, the Authority is back again, screwing over the baby faces. Oh, look, the evil boss is back yet again, screwing over the baby faces. Oh, look, the evil heel champion, once again, screwing over the baby faces. And then whenever a babyface champion does win, they only have the title for a month, or they turn heel, and then they become the evil heel that's screwing over the baby faces. It just becomes depressing. And I think that's another main thing of what I don't like about WWE. But yeah. So I know I'm ending it with a heel thing, but it's clear they want Roman to be the guy. They want him to be Cena. They want him to be Rock and Austin and Hulk Hogan. He's not going to be heel for long. And they can eventually turn him. But at the same point, if he is the guy that you want to circle around your company for, you got to have him go on last if he is going to be the brick you build around. So I got the two people they want to be the guys up top. Roman Reigns is their Cena. Drew McIntyre is going to be their Orton. So they got the number 1 and number 2 guys up top, as it kind of has to be. In theory, this would not be a bad thing if it weren't for WWE ending every pay-per-view with a heel beatdown of some sort. Or at least that's what it feels like. Once again, as I've said, I haven't really watched WWE in a while. I don't watch AEW either, to be perfectly honest. There's a lot of modern wrestling I just hate. I don't even watch the G1 Climax, because G1 Climax is the same. Oh, look, another 45-minute match of, kicking out of 700 finishers. The mid-card in a New Japan show I'd like. Because the first part is, oh, here's a 8-man team, then a 6-man team, then a Battle Royal, now another 6-man team match. It's the first 2 hours is just, here's everyone in random assorted tag teams because we have, 8 different factions. Then you have the middle card where you actually have, one-on-one matches that go 12 minutes and actually tell a story. And then the top 3 or 4 matches are just these 45-minute long epics where it's just fast forward. So the middle card of an NJPW show I'll watch, and I'll take little notes from Suzuki or Yano or when he was wrestling Shibata, because Shibata just made things look real. Although Shibata had complete job face. You could see it in his face when he was losing a match. He would just walk to the ring going, yep, I'm losing today. But when he was going to win a match, he'd be like, I'm going to go and beat them up, going to kill their ass, It's like, oh, I guess he's winning today, Or in his entrance, oh, I guess he's losing today, So I don't know. That's kind of dude, you're taking it way too damn seriously. But yeah, that's generally the entire card that I thought up. I see now, 45 minutes in, that one person has suddenly joined up. So, yay, congratulations, you missed the entire thing. But, if anyone wants to, watch this video later, woohoo, they can watch it later. And, yeah. We'll see how close I was to the actual card. Chances are nowhere close because, it's WWE. They're going to put 16 matches on the damn card because it's going to be an 8-hour show because, of course, it is. And, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, just gonna relax now for the rest of the day. I got classes I gotta teach tomorrow. I'm teaching 7 classes now this semester, so I'm very busy and I'm kind of always in front of this computer, so yay. Kind of, don't have much free time. It kind of just, computer, answer emails, grade papers, teach class. Students have questions they were confused about, so go back, answer emails, grade papers, teach class. Kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And will be for the next couple of months. But, it's going to be fun getting back into ring shape after this is all done. Not that I don't have muscles, but just more of like the, oh yeah, that's how bumps feel. Yep. That's going to be fun. Because, even simple things like the ropes, those are cables, okay? They're not ropes. You get first time you take the ropes the wrong way because it's like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, and then you just, slip up because you're out of practice. Because it's not like I have a ring here to, run the ropes every day. It's like, ooh, that was my side. Yeah, that was a steel cable right to the ribs. Ooh, that feels lovely. Just little things like that. It's gonna be oh yeah, yep, this is lovely. That's nice and fun stuff. So yeah, Wednesdays are book day. Working on the book in case anyone cares. Decided now that it's actually going to be 3 books. So we've reconstructed our outline and got all the index cards over there taped to the wall. Book 1, we've got the first couple of chapters done again and agreed upon. And I'm going to work on chapter 4 this week out of 40. So about 1/10 done of my current rewrites. Eventually this project will be done. And thankfully, we can actually end it at an appropriate point without having to cut, 70 bajillion words, because that was the big problem. Editor came back and, it's cut, 60,000 words out of this. Oh, and cut these 2 chapters out of it. And it's like, okay. And then we just get to this point where it feels like it's a hodgepodge of a book of time jumps. And we kind of realized it needs to be more multiple books. We have to finish the first book and then say, here's book 1, book 2, and book 3 will be coming. You're buying a trilogy. Which is going to be a tough sell. I'll admit it will be a tough sell. But thankfully, I have, contacts in the industry, so got a foot in the door, honestly, once this actually finally gets done. So, another year or 2 of working on it, and hopefully I'll be an actual signed author as well as a wrestler. So, yay, that'll be fun. Yeah, that's kind of basically it. Might draw another character or whatnot for it. I've got the characters drawn up here too, just to get anatomy purposes correct. And does this person have green hair or red hair or whatnot? And I actually got the nice green hair. Like people have green hair. No. People did not have green hair in ancient Rome, David. That did not happen. But just making sure that I don't have characters that look too similar. I want to really differentiate everyone because I'm also the artist. I'm drawing all the chapter pictures as well. Photoshop, tablet, Wacom. So yeah, that's been my life. Working through COVID. I was one of the lucky ones that did not get laid off because my job could easily be applied online. So yeah. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. See how Wrestlemania is. And you know what? That's what I miss the most. I'm going to miss. I can't actually go to Wrestlemania. I can't go to Boris's house with Setsu and the twins and some people who shall not be named because there was a big tiff over, with wrestlers, there's always egos involved, right? And I actually already mentioned Boris, who was probably also someone that should not be named, according to the company. So, yeah, there's always egos of people going, I want to do this with my character. And, the boss says, no, we're not doing this. And people fight. And then someone shows up on a show they're not supposed to. And it amazes me how childish wrestling can be sometimes. Really can. So there's a few people that are persona non grata, but we would all watch the shows together and, yeah, I like what he did there. And, oh my God, why are you doing this? This doesn't fit the character. And just go back and forth. It was really honestly sort of like a MST3K watch along of wrestling. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I liked the most about that's what I liked the most about WrestleMania, honestly, was just sitting with the guys, drinking a few, having some wings and just, shit talking the show. That was the most fun of any WWE pay-per-view. If it was good, it was good. If it was bad, hell, you got the guys along going like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. Who wrote this shit, And that was the fun part. That was the fun part. And the sad thing is we all knew, because we've, had training sessions with, people that train WWE athletes. We know that they know it's stupid. And it's like, we know that they know they're having the same exact thoughts. And it's going like, but for some reason, end result product is this, most of the time complete garbage. And it's like, they're doing what they're told. Someone told them to do that. And I bet every person involved along the way was going, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe we did this. How do we have to do that? Because they've been in the business for 15 years, working their way up and all that sort of stuff. They know what's right and what's wrong. And they have to do it anyway. So that was always the most fun part, was just riffing along with, me and the other, guys just going like, yup, that was stupid. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that made no sense. That was the fun part. Gonna miss that. Didn't have it last year or this year. Probably not gonna have it next year either, because I don't think COVID's gonna be done. I think we're honestly looking at 2022 before things go back to normal. But, even people that survive it, have permanent lung damage or heart damage or whatnot. So, yay, fun, happy times. So all these people that are even wrestling now in the indies, it's like, yeah, you're one of the only ones wrestling right now. And you're taking, 20 years off your life doing so. Some things are more important. And it's just kind of sad when you think about it, because, you see like all these people in WWE where they give this promo of like, it's my dream to be here. When I was touring the indies and I was living in a car because I had no money because all I did was go and wrestle and I didn't have an actual job that paid the bills and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you realize, like, there is a level of dedication that is fanatical and insane and really counterintuitive to their health and well-being. And, I've already been to 2 different wrestling funerals. Okay. And there's a third one that will happen once COVID's over. And, yeah, I will officially be to more wrestling funerals than I have been to actual family member funerals. Okay. Like, I have lost less grandparents than I have wrestlers or people related to the wrestling industry. That is a sad and tragic thought process, where just look at it and go, it's a job. Just treat it like a job. It's not, you show up, you do your job. Even if we're doing this for fun, we're wrestling once a week. Even if we're going like, we're going to just be in this, one independent promotion until the day we die, we'll still be, having fun on the weekends, once a week for the next 30 years. Okay, we can do that. But these people that, eat, sleep, breathe, because you know that for every one that makes it, there's 100 more that are right now just on the street. They're still on the street because they didn't have a job. They just trained and wrestled, and now they don't have any skills after that. And there are 100 would-be WWE superstars that are just dead, just died on the streets, never got picked up by WWE, never made it into a big independent, nothing like that. They're done. People take it way too damn seriously sometimes. Take care of yourselves, guys. Through COVID, through anything after COVID, through everything. Ease up. You're all right. Sour note to end on there, but yeah, I don't think there's anything else I really want to talk about. So, yeah. Take care of yourselves, guys. Just stay out there, take care, enjoy. Have a great day, everyone. I've been talking long enough. These videos always go so long whenever I talk. I can't stop talking, can I? Ending the stream before I keep talking. Yes, end the stream.